In a world of rapid advancement such as our own, it gets harder and harder for us, particularly younger citizens, to realize just how ever-changing our modern world has become. Computers, cell phones, vacations to outer space, these quantum leaps of human achievement have all become quite commonplace in our daily lives. So, how did we get here? Well, to gain some perspective, the best approach is to talk with those who lived in a time when such advancements were just starting to gain ground, or simply didn't exist at all.
It was after the war, and there was a lot of immigrant families, European and Italian families. So I had a lot of, Italian friends. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I tasted spaghetti.
During the war, it was quite hectic because I was 13 years old when the war started. And one afternoon there was a German plane that came across the channel, and as I was right in the line of fire, I went outside and I could see the German plane, see the swastika, and even the pilot. It was so low. It was flying right across.
When I was 5, I rode my horse to the village school, and let's remember the war had just finished, right? Just simply speaking, I was the daughter of a family whose side had won the war, and most of the pupils were children of families that had tried to support Hitler. So I had no friends at school.
1929, my father decided to give up his little homestead and move to a ranch. So he moved 40 miles up the line on the brand new railroad line, and he bought a ranch.
It must have been a very hard life growing up on a ranch.
No, it was not. We were a large family, and it was during the Depression, and I was in the middle of the family, so I was actually a cowgirl.
My father passed away, and my mother was ill, so I had to quit school and go to work. We were very poor to begin with, so there wasn't much money to spend. My father had a garden, and as a teenager I did make a lot of my own clothes. So I think today it's easier for the kids. They just take the charge card and go charge their clothes.
Well, the family ties were very strong, as you know, during the Depression. They had no money, but the families were all the same, and they all stuck together, and they all managed to come through the Depression without any ill effects.
And of course everything was rationed, and you had, things, ration book. I still have one today that my aunt gave me. I still have a ration book. You were expected to grow up and in the community and the things that were going on in those days. You were taught to be a housewife. You were expected to be married and take care of a home. And there wasn't so much emphasis on education. It was more going out to work when you were 18 or 17 or 18 and finish school. I've always believed in being honest and trying to do the best that I could, and I think I've done that all through my life.
It wasn't a very materialistic set of rules. You didn't have to be rich to be recognized. The clothes you wore weren't that important. In fact, I hardly wore any clothes at all until I had to go to school. So I think kindness was a great thing.
It seems like such a distant notion nowadays, growing up during a war that people felt the effects of worldwide. But now that we've gained some perspective on how people lived in the pre-modern world, I'm interested to hear their opinion on the world they live in now.
We've come a long way, and I think it's wonderful. And there's no end in sight, as you know. They're still planning on sending more satellites out and everything like that.
In some ways it's a lot easier, in other ways it's not. I don't agree with the way young people grow up today. I don't think there's enough discipline in the way that I see people on the bus, and I see the children have more control over the parents than the parents have over the children, which I think is wrong.
Well, I don't feel there's a lot of interaction between parents and children, because kids today are really into their computers.
I think what we need right now is more continuity in families and more unity and more togetherness. The biggest change, Paul, is that the respect for your elders has gone by the wayside. You know, years ago people would call it Mr. So-and-so and Mr. So-and-so, and they would never talk back to their elders or anything. Well, now, just go out in the mall and you'll just hear all the language and the attitude, the body language and everything. It's just terrible.
I feel that humans have invented things as we've gone along through time. And often it's the person using that invention that will make it a good thing or a not good thing. I mourn the loss of knowledge. I feel that technology is filling our minds with information, and information is not knowledge. On the other hand, I'm absolutely astounded at the power of social media. I applaud it because of the results. Information carried that way to awaken people to a reality that is further than that little isolated bubble of fast-moving messages, right? That I applaud, I really do, and I think it's great. And I wouldn't know what to do without a computer or email.
My life right now is great. I spent my life doing ballroom dancing, which I loved. My life has been good, and I have nothing to complain about. I'm enjoying my life right now.
Lastly, I'm interested if there's any parting words of wisdom they'd like to share with the youth of the day to make their lives just a little bit better.
There's something for people to do all the time. That's no way for them to sit at home and say, I haven't anything to do and I'm so lonely. If they are, it's their own fault.
Have a good education and work and you know, do the best you can, be honest, be truthful, and be true to yourself. And you just don't expect things to come easily. You have to work for things.
Put out your love and gratitude for being alive, because it'll come back. But you must stop, stand still, breathe deep, appreciate.
Just be, have a good life and be happy.